Right now, the economy has come to a grinding halt nearly due to COVID-19. It kind of seems like nobody knows what to expect. Taking that kind of long-term view in the context of nothing is predictable beyond the lockdown and the pains that I can imagine the property sector is experiencing right now, are you still comfortable with your decision?
I have to be because I've made it, and it would be a hell of a thing to unmake it. I do understand and accept that you shouldn't go with the sunk cost theory that just because you take a while making a mistake, you must stick with it. No, for a place to be, my current lockdown, I'm on 8,000 square meters. I've got a huge house with a beautiful view and a veranda. Hey, there are worse places to be locked down, eh? There is nobody pushing an agenda with you. It's all you. Are you waking up and have a goal for the day, let alone for the week, let alone for the 21 days? So you're now self-directed.
Right.
What am I directed to do? What are the disciplines I am following to get to do that? And will it all matter in 21 days? So that those going through those filtrations, what do you wake up to do? No one's pushing you out of bed.
Right.
No one's calling you out of bed. So if you haven't got I woke up to do this at this time today because this feeds into that tomorrow, and all of this matters because X, Y, and Z, I think you're going to have a hell of a 21 days. Eh?
So, what do we do right now?
The only tool with this much kind of uncertainty has to be some sort of scenario planning. What is materially different, right?
Yeah.
In my business, I provide services to connect pieces of ground with people with capital and ideas. How do we do that? Do we still have meetings? I can't not meet a person on site. I cannot not engage my contractor or my architect with the very real, tangible on the ground. So human beings, we're still going to have to meet. That's not going to happen for 21 days. Our funding, our bankers come along and do valuations at every stage. Is the foundation laid? Are we at window level? Are we at roof level for them to disperse money? The human beings that still need to do that, human interaction is always going to be there. But in our sale, how do I have a sales team that's on the ground and receiving literally hundreds of people on a show day? On a popular site, are they still going to come as 100 people? How do I keep them safe? How does that work? Can we go virtual? Are you, Zuki, going to buy a $100,000 property
Without
that you've
seeing
seen
it?
pictures on the web?
Well, I don't know. So, I mean, we see a lot of those virtual showrooms now and then. But I mean, if you're making a big investment decision, I would imagine you have to feel a level of connection to the place. So you would need to see it physically at some point. I mean, just outside of the residential property business, now that everybody's on lockdown, I think business is faced with the new idea that we can actually have people working remotely. And therefore, do we actually need the big corporate office building structure to house 4,000 to 6,000 people when now we know they can work remotely? So as a property owner, what kind of new value proposition are you bringing forward?
Here, welcome to the world of interconnected webs and complexity, right? I don't own commercial property, but I did a consolidation for one of your big four banks. It was a 14-month project. They had 37 buildings. We compressed that to about 17 buildings for their occupation. How do we remove the real estate costs from the business? Because in the service
It's a
business,
big
your
cost.
biggest cost is your staff. The next second biggest cost is your real estate.
Rent.
If we can save on that, we can be getting quite a head start in our new operating model in the new world. So who's going to need this service? Do I work and represent landlords in negotiations, or do I represent tenants and saying, guys, let me help you develop a property strategy that makes you meet your operational expectations, deliver on your strategy, because strategy, fancy whiteboards, yeah, it looks great in on canvas,
Yeah.
but it's people who are implementing it. And those people who are implementing it, human beings, we're doing this on Zoom. In a couple of months, we're going to be doing it face to face again. People need that human connection and interaction.
I think that's the point right there, right? If we think of, the world before, let's call it the world before COVID, but really these changes started happening a little time before that, where people actually don't want to be locked down to long-term contracts anymore because change is the most inevitable thing, and it's difficult to plan 10 years ahead of time. And even in the residential context, to commit to a 12 or 24-month residential contract is a tall order. So much changes so rapidly. Have those conversations been held within the property sector about making lease agreements more flexible?
So now we have this dichotomy, right? Let's talk to Zuki, not quite the millennial, but millennial thinking. Let's call you a millennial
I
thinking.
identify as millennial, just so you know.
Okay, all right. So here you are. Right now you're working from home. I wouldn't hold it against you if you were a WeWorkist or any of the other shared office space guys in Johannesburg.
Yeah.
That works for you
Mine is workshop.
because yeah, yours is a laptop business. We connect, you see your clients, you inspire, you do all of your great work in their spaces, and then you come to pull your stuff together and get your admin done. That kind of thinking and that kind of as and when, just in time use
Right.
is very different from, I know you're a property owner, but other people rent property. For that safety and security, they need to be near the Gautrain station or near the airport, whatever they need to be to make those networks work. For their safety and security, do you think they can be out there delivering on the work that they need to do, thinking that, you know what, next month my landlord might tell me to get out of my spot? They want some lockdown. They want some security of tenure on the place that they stay.
Yeah.
So the same person in different circumstances has different needs. And the real estate market, which is a very staid and static and has always relied on a long lease and a monthly basis, that model is entirely challenged.
Wow. So who's on the losing end of this debate right now? Is it the Zuki who's a tenant, either on a commercial place or a residential space, or is it the property owner who is most challenged? Because it seems most business models at this stage have to play to the need of the consumer's tune.
I put it that the landlords in Zimbabwean vernacular, very tight. It's a tight space that they're in. They're under pressure. They're the ones who've put in the capital investment. They're the ones who, look, if Zuki decides to pull out of WeWork and WeWork decides to end their lease, guess what? City of Joburg still wants its money. Eskom still wants its money. The insurance company that insures the building, the security guard at the gate, if there's one person or 1,000 people
serviced that business to get it up and running, there's a lot.
You see, so most real estate transactions, even in the listed sector, they've got some significant debt finance behind them. You wouldn't be playing the real estate game effectively if you haven't borrowed money to do it. Yes, you can do it with all your own money, but we'd got to a stage, the listed sector, probably about 35% carrying debt.
I would imagine this being in this state of flux does a lot in terms of the pricing, the price point of real estate values right now. If you are somebody that's sitting on a lump of money, this is probably the time to start picking up a lot of distressed properties that you can turn around, I suppose, when the market finds a level of stability, whatever that may be.
Let's go with that thought. What are the inputs into our model for what normal looks like? Okay, buy it in distress right now. Tenants are falling over, they can't afford. How are you going to pick it up to make a commitment? When you borrow money, what you are doing is betting your reputation and your credit on the ability for people to pay.
Right.
So are you smarter than the market? Are you wiser than the market? So if there's a sale happening now, are you smarter, and can you create a better scenario that is going to give you profit by buying the distressed asset and doing something with it? if you're assuming normality, how sure are you?
What
Because
is
nobody was sure this time around.
so are you saying or let me put it in a different way. So we've always been told, of course, that real estate is the safest investment, and to buy low is always a good investment call, right? So what would you say people should be doing if they're thinking about real estate at this point?
My dear, I'm going to qualify two dogmatic statements that you said. Real estate is always a safe investment. And two, I think you said always buying low or something like that.
Yeah.
Real estate Real estate is a massive asset class. It has some fantastic positive properties. When appropriately financed, it can be a great store and generator of wealth. It is not foolproof. It is not upwards only. Issues around finance and use and structure can be an atomic bomb to not only the property, but in your portfolio as well. If you've got a property that you've overcommitted to, and you don't get tenants in to pay you the rent, Nedbank, ABSA, FNB, Investec, they're not going to say, shame, let's share the loss together, my dear. Because on the other side, when you're clubbing it, you are chowing that money and you're only paying them their interest and they're happy. So that's the game. So where are we with real estate right now? Be cautious. If you look backwards in the rearview mirror, you're going to say, what a fantastic buying opportunity. These things were happily 100% above where they are right now. This is cheap. Let me buy in. But can you use pre-COVID thinking and extrapolate that into a post-COVID thinking world? I don't think so.
That is such an incredible point, because I think the temptation to fall back on what we know and has worked for us before is such an easy go-to, but often proven to be the lazy way to go about it. But just for a moment, take me into your home. You are such an expert in the property game. And I mean, for the years that I've known you, I've heard you speak on multiple platforms, and you really have incredible depth of knowledge, which is quite impressive. In your home, is this something that your three boys are privy to? So right now, during the lockdown, while you're caught in this time bubble, how much of this knowledge is transferring to them?
Hey, so I set myself the task to say, what are the conversations I need to have with these dudes that they need to understand?
Right.
So I've got a 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 11-year-old. I am trying to explain to them what is cash flow. They get pocket money, they spend it. Sometimes they accumulate. I've done funny tricks with them where I say, well, if you guys get to the holidays and you've got this grand saved, I'll top it up with a 500%. I'll top it up with the $500. So incentivizing them to save. So I've said to them, guys, you need to understand what an economy is, what a company does, and how we make money. Because I'm an independent contractor. I could go MBA on the dudes and explain to them
which is the important point, right?
structure, what a balance sheet is, what an income statement is. Sure. So how do I transfer this? Look, guys, what is a company? And we spoke about the stock market. What is a stock market? What is a share? And not even my oldest son, he would buy on the weekend. They'd pull together their money. They'd go to Macro. They would get chippies. What are those things called? The colored popcorns.
Oh, right.
So
those things are sold on every street corner shop.
These boys would put together their stock, then they'll go to school and they'll flog that stock and make a profit. Now I'm trying to explain to them. So it's something he knows and something he can do, but now to say, okay, what is an income statement? An income statement is sales, less cost of sales, gives you gross profit. Gross profit, you made.
But there are many tools, right, out there that can help you become that good teacher, the tools that you can go to help you transfer the knowledge. Because the one thing I'm learning, having to homeschool a 6-year-old, is that teachers need to be paid a hell of a lot more money. I know that
Ain't
I
that the
do
truth?
not have the ability. I have the knowledge, but I don't have the ability to transfer it. So there are so
And the
many
patience?
incredible tools, and I think it falls on us as parents not to waste this crisis, because we actually have that opportunity to transfer all of the knowledge that we have. But we don't have to do it alone. There's so many tools out
Absolutely.
there. I mean, I
Absolutely.
played the cash flow game and still do from time to time, because I feel like unless you work with this every single day, the theory will escape you, right? And I think Robert Kiyosaki did an
Yeah,
incredible
sure.
job
Sure.
of putting that cash flow into a board game format, which makes it a lot more palatable for everyone. What is the one thing that you're going to leave in this time bubble or in the pre-COVID era?
Theorizing about black swans.
And what is the one new thing you're going to gift yourself in the era post-COVID?
Seek to enjoy things more.
Yes.
When things feel right, just go for it. Enjoy it. It's there. Enjoy.
Right. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. So as you know, my Instagram page, Living Unscripted, is all
Yeah,
about
boy.
is all about defining and redefining what we think we know, what we believe, the way we do things. It's about questioning. And then once you've done the questioning, is to practice doing things that actually your body tells you, this feels like a yes, go in that direction. So do
Quite.
more of that.
Quite.
So I absolutely love
Quite.
that. Love that. Well, thank you, Chihota. Anything you'd want to say to people in lockdown right now? One last drop a pearl.
You're going to get 21 days on lockdown. Love it or hate it. You're going through it. So better try and enjoy it.
Love it. You and I are going to connect soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mzos.